Hello and welcome to EUTV Sports Update. We'll be looking at the latest sports news from Evangel University and around the region. I'm Spencer Barnes.
We'll also look at football across the nation and check out the latest happenings in this professional sports world. I'm Josiah Mann, and this is Sports Update on EUTV.
Well, we are back. Sports Update took our own little bye week last week, but we are back after fall break.
Yes, the Evangel Valor teams continue to play and have games, but we are now back to covering it. This past week was a tough one for Evangel Valor men's soccer with two narrow losses. On Wednesday, October 23rd, the Valor faced off against Southwestern College at Coryell Field here in Springfield. The game remained scoreless through the first half despite some strong opportunities, including a close header by Micah Seams. Unfortunately, Southwestern scored a controversial late goal in the final 30 seconds, selling a 1-0 loss for Evangel. On Saturday, October 26th, Evangel traveled to Kansas to play Sterling College. The Valor fought hard despite a shorthanded roster, but a first-half penalty kick gave Sterling the lead. Evangel had several strong chances, but Sterling's defense held firm, and a late goal resulted in a 2-0 loss for the Valor. Despite these setbacks, Evangel continues to push through conference play.
The Evangel women's soccer team secured a shutout victory over Sterling. Thanks to a pair of goals and great defensive play, the Valor won 2-0. Ava Campbell opened the scoring with a penalty goal just before halftime, giving the Valor a 1-0 lead. In the second half, Mackenzie Calhoun scored her fifth goal of the season, extending Evangel's lead. The Valor controlled the game, outshooting Sterling 32-7 and earned their seventh shutout of the season. Evangel prepares for their final regular season road game, taking on Ottawa on Wednesday evening.
Evangel Valor women's volleyball continues to dominate, securing two back-to-back victories this past week. After a tough 5-set loss to nationally ranked McPherson, the Valor bounced back, sweeping Southwestern College on Wednesday. Led by Viviana Sanchez, Simone Johnson, and Addison Allen, Evangel cruised to a 3-0 win with set scores of 25-15, 25-15, and 25-16. Sanchez shined, and the match ended with Meredith Avery's service ace. The Valor carried their momentum into Saturday's home match against Sterling College. Evangel's strong defense and sharp offense, led by Sha'aria Seymour and Bella Wakely, pushed them to another straight-set victory with final scores of 25-17, 26-24, and 25-14. With these wins, Evangel Volleyball now boasts 20 victories on the season.
The Evangel football team, ranked number 20 in the NAIA rankings, traveled to play the number 19 team in Friends this weekend. Both teams came into the game undefeated, and a loss to either team would make reaching the NAIA playoffs very difficult. Friends got off to a hot start, leading 14-0 at halftime. Evangel rallied in the third quarter with a 35-yard touchdown pass from Reed Potts to Brady Allen. In the fourth quarter, Nate Swafford returned a fumble for a touchdown, and the score was tied at 21. With 2 minutes remaining, Swafford made another huge play. He intercepted a deep pass from the Friends quarterback, setting the Valor offense up to win the game. The Valor ran down the clock, and Jonah Edwards kicked a 28-yard field goal to secure the win and keep the Valor undefeated.
Well, this week has been a great week for Valor sports, especially with the women's volleyball team. They continue to dominate. Man, they are really setting some new trends and records for the Evangel volleyball team. As well as the football, also undefeated. Well, do you think this will be a second undefeated season for them, Spencer?
I don't know. I hope so. But Evangel sports across the board are just playing well. And it's just really exciting as they push towards the postseason.
It is extremely exciting, man.
Well, coming up, I'll be sitting down with the women's soccer coach, Bruce Deaton, to discuss their season and his coaching strategies.
And later, we'll look at some of the wild action from the NFL and World Series, as well as the UFC. We'll be right back. This is Sports Update.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
We discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure,
Pure love.
love.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Welcome back to the show. Today we're thrilled to have Coach Bruce Deaton, head coach of the Evangel Valor women's soccer team. Coach Deaton has been with Evangel since 2015, leading the launch of the women's soccer program. Coach Deaton, thank you so much for joining us today on Sports Update.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, for sure.
So before we dive into this season, I just want to learn more about your background. When did you start playing soccer?
Well, I started when I was 6 years old. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. I went to school at Marshall University. I played at the NCAA Division I level. Graduated 40 years ago. Got into coaching really from the time I was playing. I was an assistant coach at Marshall for a couple of years. I have coached at every level, every level in the NCAA, now in the NAI. And so I've been involved in coaching at club and college level for about 30 plus years now.
So how did you get involved with coaching at Evangel?
So I just, I had come through, I actually had a newspaper marketing career. For 20 years, I worked in the Gannett Company. I was a marketing director at the Springfield News Leader back in the day, and we were here for a few years and came back, and I just was in the area, had noticed some goals actually on the intramural field, now the Rowden intramural field, and had contacted the athletic director at the time. And this was a year and a half before soccer ever came about. I was coaching at a college in central Louisiana and loved this area. So we had a little bit of dialogue, and then about 6 months later, they called me and asked if I'd be interested in talking to them about starting the soccer programs here. And so I had the privilege of starting both the men's and women's team here, and I was director of soccer operations for a good portion of that as well. And then now I just coach, and then I teach a class in the sport management department.
Oh, very cool. So looking at this season, you have 2 games left. How do you feel about this season so far?
It's interesting because it's kind of like 2 seasons. We started off pretty sluggish. We weren't putting a ball in the back of the net very often. In fact, our first 7 games, we were 1-5-1, and we'd scored 3 times. Gave up a few goals. We had a bye week, and we really just totally reshaped everything. We changed formations, changed some people around, and since then, in the last 8 matches, we're 6-1-1. We're in the postseason. We just don't know where we're going to be yet. This week we'll shake that out. So incredibly excited. We've scored 13 times and given up 4 goals in the last 8 games. So we just totally shifted how we were playing. And the ladies absolutely respond to that because it is absolutely all them. It has nothing to do with this old dude right here. So I'm just along for the ride, honestly. So, but it's been awesome. I love where we're at. This week means a lot because it really is going to be, we're sitting in 5th place overall. Top 8 teams in the conference go to the postseason, and we should potentially clinch that berth for sure. We're 1 point away from clinching it, so we should clinch it tomorrow evening.
So are there any specific things that you're looking for this week in the next 2 games, that just areas of improvement or things you'd like to see?
Well, we worked on it the last 2 days. We've worked on finishing because we had a practice right before this, and so we worked on some finishing because we had 32 shots on Saturday and we scored twice. So we did a good job of hitting the lady in yellow who was in front of the goal in their team. So we worked a bit on that. I love what we're doing defensively. I mean, we had our 7th shutout on Saturday, which tied the record with our team from 2019, which was actually the best team that we'd ever had here. And that was the team that just missed out on the national tournament back in that year, in the pre-COVID time. And so this has been our best season since COVID, and it really has been exciting from that standpoint. So we just want to continue to be tight on defending. So I'd love to see us get at least 1 more shutout to break that record. But at this point, it's just, I would like to see us continue on the winning ways that we're on, because we could potentially there's still a chance that we could host a first round playoff game. And so that's part of what we're fighting for this week.
How do you balance with training hard at practice but also keeping players healthy?
Well, we pay a lot of attention to that. We're fortunate we have someone who handles our strength program, and so we do a lot of that really for injury mitigation. That's everything of what we do, is so it's try to prevent injury. And we're fortunate that we don't have a lot of tissue-related injuries. Most of the injuries that we do get are contact-based, and you can't always prevent those. But we do keep a really strong eye on what the work rate is like after a match. So the training session after a match will be a little bit different. It won't be as intense. It'll be short bursts of activity, but enough to work out the soreness from the day before, because the game is pretty intense. And so that creates, and there are times we just go, okay, you have the day off tomorrow, because we're managing them physically throughout a season, because it's pretty much a grind when you're playing 2 matches a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, college sports are no easy thing. How do you support the girls with balancing school as well as soccer?
Sure. Well, and the beauty of it is I have a lot of smart players. I mean, our team GPA is 3.6. And so I don't have to stress a lot about that, because people ask me when I'm recruiting, they're like, oh, do you have study hall? I'm like, no, I don't need to. And we don't. We haven't had a study hall probably in 8 years. And it's because they do it themselves. It's pretty organic. A lot of the stuff we do is very organic, and they're in a lot of them are in the same tracks together, so they study together, and they work hard in the classroom, and that honestly comes first. I mean, I've had players where it's like, okay, we have depth in our roster, and if someone has to miss something because of academics, and that's absolutely what happens, and we make that work. I have nursing students, I have students all across the board that have very demanding academic schedules, and so that's the number 1 priority for them here, and so that's where we focus first, and then everything else comes in after that. So.
Awesome. Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us today on Sports Update, and good luck to you on these last 2 games and the postseason.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Well, coming up, we'll be looking at 2 NFL games and more national sports right after this.
What a disaster.
You're a disaster. This is a disaster.
You can't be ready for every little disaster, but you can prepare for a big one. Make an emergency plan today.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
This weekend's NFL clash between the Washington Commanders and the Chicago Bears ended in a jaw-dropping fashion as the Commanders pulled off an 18-15 victory with a Hail Mary in the final seconds. Rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels scrambled for nearly 13 seconds before launching a 52-yard bomb that was tipped by Chicago's Tyreek Stevenson and caught by Noah Brown in the end zone. The dramatic win came after the Bears just took the lead with just 23 seconds left. Daniels, playing through a rib injury, finished with 326 passing yards, adding another electric highlight to his standout season. The Commanders now sit at 6-2, while the Bears fall to 4-3.
The Chiefs traveled to Las Vegas this week to face the Raiders in a division rivalry game. The Chiefs came into the game 6-0, hoping for a better performance against the Raiders than the last time they played, when the Raiders beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead on Christmas Day last year. This week, it was a close game, but the Chiefs pulled out the victory, winning 27-20. Patrick Mahomes played well, throwing for 2 touchdowns, and Travis Kelce had a huge game on National Tight Ends Day with 10 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. The Chiefs moved to 7-0 and remain the only undefeated team in the NFL. UFC 308 went down this weekend in Abu Dhabi and boasted some of the most exciting fights of the year. The main event between featherweight champion Ilia Topuria and BMF champion Max Holloway was highly anticipated, and it did not disappoint. Topuria came in 16-0, having just knocked out legendary featherweight Alex Volkanovski. Holloway was coming off an incredible knockout of Justin Gaethje and claiming to be the best boxer in the UFC. The first 2 rounds were very exciting, with both fighters landing shots and having their moments. In the 3rd round, Topuria really heated up and landed a big punch that hurt Holloway. A few moments later, he landed a huge right hand that dropped Holloway, and the ref quickly stepped in to stop the fight. Ilia Topuria is the first fighter to ever knock out Max Holloway and looks to have a long reign as the featherweight champion.
Well, here's a quick update on the 2024 World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. Los Angeles is off to a dominant start, leading the series 3-0 after last night's 4-2 victory. Freddie Freeman has been a star for the Dodgers, with his Game 1 grand slam in the 10th inning sealing a 6-3 win and setting the tone for the series. The Dodgers also won Game 2, 4-2, with Freeman contributing once again. The Yankees, on the other hand, have struggled offensively, with Aaron Judge and Juan Soto yet to find their rhythm. The Dodgers could close the series in Game 4 tonight, aiming for their first championship since 2020.
And there is a lot going on in sports this week. A few shout-outs to the NFL. The Lions look like one of the best teams in the NFL.
The Lions are for sure. The
52 points against the Titans.
That's absolutely insane what is happening. The Lions and the Commanders are really pulling some strings to get their teams going and winning games this season. It's really pleasantly surprising. I'm looking forward to when they play the Chiefs, because it is. I feel like the Chiefs haven't really played any really super hard or difficult teams yet this season. Even though they're undefeated technically, I just feel like that there are a lot tougher teams that they could be going up against.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we'll have the EUTV Player of the Week.
We'll also have your upcoming Evangel games this week. We'll be right back.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Yep.
It's now time for the EUTV Sports Player of the Week.
This week's Player of the Week is Jonah Edwards, a standout kicker for the Evangel University Valor football team. Hailing from Weatherford, Oklahoma, Jonah has been a crucial asset for the Valor, bringing his precision and consistency to the field.
A senior this year, Jonah's kicking game has helped drive the team's success this season. With his strong leg and cool demeanor under pressure, he's become a key player to watch as Evangel pushes forward in the conference. Keep an eye on Jonah Edwards as he continues to deliver for the Valor.
Jonah made the winning field goal against Friends University this last weekend as well. Congratulations, Jonah. And now, let's go to the upcoming games of the week. This Wednesday, October 30th, Valor Soccer will be playing against Ottawa University. The women will be playing at 5 p.m. and the men will be playing at 7:30 p.m. This will be an away game at Advent Health Field in Ottawa, Kansas. Then on Saturday, November 2nd, the women will be playing York University at 12 p.m. and the men at 2:30 versus York University. This will be a home game at Coryell Field.
The volleyball team will play Wednesday, October 30th against Ottawa. This will be a home game at 7 p.m. Then on Saturday, November 2nd, they will travel to York University. This game will start at 6 p.m.
Finally, on Saturday, November 2nd, the Valor football will be facing off against McPherson College as they continue in conference play. This game will be at 1 p.m. and be in Nixon, Missouri at Eagle Stadium.
Go Evangel Valor! Well, there are a lot of exciting games this week. Also, we should throw in there, basketball has their first game. It's non-conference, but Friday they start their season, so that's exciting as well.
That is exciting. I am looking forward to seeing football and volleyball continue to dominate as they continue in their conference plays as well. Mm-hmm. Really looking forward to seeing Valor football have another undefeated season. Well, that is all the time that we have today for Sports Update. We invite you to check out euvalormedia.com for all the latest Evangel news and media. I'm Josiah Mann.
And I'm Spencer Barnes. Be sure to join us next week as we have the latest in sports. For more information on Evangel Sports, go to evangelathletics.com. This has been Sports Update on EUTV.